College Q&A is a message or text-based question and answer platform for prospective college students. The point of College Q&A is to provide an easy-to-go place for students applying to college or students thinking about college, or basically any student who's already in high school, no matter how early they are, and considering college as an option. A place for them to go and ask questions about the process, how difficult it is, when they need to get started, everything they need to do, and general questions that any freshman through senior in high school might have about applying to or attending college. Now, the reason the product is necessary is because right now, it's very difficult for many schools to have counselors that are effective in actually helping students get college information that they actually need in order to be successful in their college application process. So what we wanted to create was a way for students to easily access the information. And we figured the easiest way for students to access the information was through something they could do on their phones and whenever they wanted to. So the product itself is actually just a text-based service. So when the student is introduced to College Q&A, they're given a phone number and asked to text that phone number. Once that student texts that phone number for us, College Q&A, we will from then on have their phone number and have their identity in our system as a student who's trying to use our service. And after having that, they are free to ask us a question at any time they want simply by texting that same number in that same conversation on their phone through their regular text messaging app. Then we will respond to them with any one of our counselors who's available. And in the case where students have joined the program but aren't texting us to ask questions, that's the beauty of having them saved in the system. In that we, as the counselors, or we as a company, our system, can send prompting questions to our potential students who have already joined the system. So let's say a student joins the system and doesn't ask us a question for a month. We can see this and then ping them, and we can text them saying, "Hey, name, have you started your college application process? Have you looked into what you need?" And they can then respond with the question, or they can respond with the answer to what we're asking them. But the point is, having them in the system gives us the capabilities to keep them accountable, to continue texting them, the student, regardless of whether or not the student actually texts us. And we believe a messaging platform is the easiest way to go because it's universal across any student who has a mobile device. Now, the messaging platform, again, as I said, it's just text message. It doesn't matter if you're iOS or Android or Windows. You'll be able to access this information and use this service. Now, the reason why this service would be compelling for high school students is because the service will begin free. Right now, many college counselors can cost upwards of thousands of dollars simply for the college application process. They won't even help you throughout high school, telling you when to take the SAT, when to start studying for subject tests, etc., etc. But we want to be there from the moment a student enters high school until they actually apply to, get into, and attend college. And being online, being mobile, and being a presence that exists removed from them, so not like someone that's not a in-school counselor or someone that they don't pay to see once a week, allows us to do that by giving a freedom of mobility and freedom of access to this student simply through their phone. Now, the service solves the problem by being cheap and available and free for users to access this kind of information. So, the business model that we had in mind as of right now is a freemium-based model where once students are introduced to the service, they can join for free, and they can ask a certain number of questions or use the service for a certain number of time for absolutely free. And once they see the value prospect of this service, or they find value in it, they can start paying very little to continue using the service. Now, we believe that's very effective in bringing new users, because what we want students to not have a massive barrier to entry. Like that's the reason why it's text messaging and not an app. That's the reason why we want to be able to contact them, because college is not something that's intuitive for every student in America or even in the world. We want it to be as easy as possible. We want to reduce every single barrier that we can. And that's why, including the cost barrier. So that's why we decided to make the service free for the time being for any student who's trying to just enter or start using this service. And that's the reason we made many of the decisions, such as using text message as opposed to an app, or us being able to contact the students, not just one-way students to us. Apart from that, the College Q&A service itself, we hope to expand to a website/app service so that those who are dedicated users and want a place to go and talk to their counselor or try and get their same college counselor over and over again will have that. Now, the way the college counseling system works is that from a user standpoint, every time they text us, unless they specify that they want the same counselor, they will get whichever counselor is available. So let's say a student texts asking, when should I start studying for SAT subject tests? If they haven't previously asked for the same counselor, such as myself, asking for a Kosh every single time, any counselor can answer that question. And right now, counselors are just people like ourselves, first year or second year college students, because we are people who are very recently removed from the process and have fresh experiences and will be able to guide students in a relative, experienced, and helpful manner. Thank you.